What's up, Kat?
We're live. How's it
Yes,
going?
it's going good. How about you?
Pretty good. I woke up at like 1 o'clock today. Typical.
Is it a typical day for you?
Yeah.
Was your schedule already like that, or did you get like that from comedy, from being
It
out late?
was, oh, from comedy. Yeah, probably from comedy. I like to blame it on comedy.
Right.
I think that like once I started doing comedy, I just like used it as an excuse to be how I naturally am.
I think that's kind of what I've been doing here recently too. I was like, I'm going to start getting up early in the mornings, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And then I wake up at 11 or 11:30 every day, and I'm like, ah, fuck.
That's still
Well,
pretty good.
yeah. I'm
I'll
like,
do this thing where like I wake up and like I'll get up at like 8 or 9 in the morning, but then I'll just stay in bed till like noon. So it's still like the same thing. It's awful.
you just like lay in bed and scroll until you hate yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'll try to say I'm like working by like editing photos or, administrative work, but I'm really just laying there being a lazy piece of shit.
Thank you for giving me a new term for my laziness. I'm doing administrative work,
Yeah. I'm having an office day.
which is code for I'm posting memes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you been able to do any live shows recently?
No, man. I think, I was supposed to have one in Las Cruces later this week, but I'm pretty sure it got canceled because the venue that we were going to perform at, somebody came down with COVID and they temporarily closed it. So
Damn, that
yeah,
sucks.
yeah. And then I think I had one or two out in Phoenix, but at this point, it's not really worth it to go out there because if I do get sick, like the hospital beds are filling up and then I'll have to quarantine. And like when you get back to New Mexico from out of state, you have to quarantine for 14 days. So,
Yeah, and it's bad in Arizona right now. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah, it's
like
pretty bad.
the highest statistics are out there right now. I think.
Yeah, they surpassed Florida.
Yeah,
Hell
that's the
yeah.
word on the internets, at least.
Wow. I
How
try, I
much?
try to not consume as much of the media about it as I
Yeah,
will.
I try not to too, but I end up doing it anyways
Yeah.
via social media and my
Yeah, it's
fucking
hard not
phone.
to,
Yeah, yeah, because everybody's got something to say about it.
right?
Uh, but I mean, who am I to say that? Because I'm a stand-up comedian, and I'm like, let me get behind
Right.
a microphone and tell you what I have to say about it.
It's like literally our job to like tell people our shitty opinions.
Yeah, yeah, it's a weird world, especially when you're like me and you're like, I want to meditate and I want to like do psychedelics and I want to better myself and like da da da, and then it's like, but then I have this narcissistic tendency every
Oh,
night to go tell comedy.
right. And I try to be like, oh well, my comedy like tells a story or it has an underlying like bigger message, and I want people to look at things the way they never looked at them before. But I mean, that also, when it comes down to it, it's like I need my laughs. Like that's like my fuel. Like if you're not a comedian, like you don't understand that laughs are like our life force. Like it's like literally like the people that like are like all I need is the sun to survive, and they just like bathe in the sun. That's all they need. They don't eat. Me, but with like laughs.
Yeah, yeah. So you already like had that tendency before you did stand-up comedy. Like when you're in group situations or with your friends, like you wanted laughs from people. Like you were cutting up trying to be silly.
Probably so, but like a lot of things that like I ended up saying like were funny and I didn't know why they were funny. I was just like that awkward like friend. And then once I got like a taste of like dopamine from it, like it becomes like addictive.
Do you think that it got more addictive once you got behind the microphone and started doing it on stage
Oh
in front of big
God.
rooms when everyone
Yeah.
has their eyes on you?
Yeah. Once I got on stage, it was completely different. Completely different. It's like the difference between like someone giving you like one piece of candy versus like going like trick-or-treating and having like a whole bag of it. I mean, with my analogies.
Yeah, that's a creepy analogy, Kat.
It's creepy, but it's just another addictive thing. Candy.
Sugar is addictive. Yes, that's
Yeah.
very true. It's like having a bump of cocaine or an 8-ball of cocaine.
Right? Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
You had a very like Epstein comparison there. You're like, yeah, candy. Who wants some candy? Come to Aunt Kat's house. We have candy over here. Fuck, it froze. Of course it froze. Froze with Kat's face laughing and her dog barking. What do you think, Bo? Come here. Do you think candy is a bad analogy? Fuck, man. Alright, how do we do this? We got, we'll, stop. No. How do we kick Kat out? Get out of here, you dead video. She did everything to get ready except charge her phone. Operation Jade Helm has taken Cat Savage. They've taken her to the caves of New Mexico to do MK Ultra brain transmission training to take away all her free thinking and comedy abilities. What happened there, dude? Cat has messaged me. I just lost internet for a second. My power flickered. It's Operation Jade Helm. You're good, Cat. I'm just trying to hold the dead air. Everybody's leaving because I'm ugly. They're like, where'd the pretty lady go? Bring her back. What were we even talking about? Might as well have been the weather. Let's talk about aliens when Cat gets back. On this week's episode of This Is Not a Scottcast, Cat Savage loses internet connection due to a power flicker, and Scott struggles to keep the dead air alive. We're resending the link to Cat. All right, guys, let's all just enjoy a comfortable silence together. I feel like I'm just really crushing it with this whole podcast thing right now, Bo. What do you think? I miss doing podcasts in person. Remember when we were people and we could talk to each other at each other's houses in person, like a people? No, I'm not wearing pants. Fuck pants. Why would I wear pants when I'm at home? Cat probably wasn't wearing pants either. It's fucking party time. Bo, what do you have to say on the podcast? Come here, Bo. Oh. Alright. Bo doesn't really fuck with me anymore like that, I guess. Because of that time that I took him to the vet and they removed his testicles, which I would be upset if I fell asleep and woke up with no testicles too, so. Oh, yeah. Just looks like I'm typing the Cat. I'm going to share this as a watch party. We're going to take this time to share. Hi, this is my podcast host voice. Here we are. Hey, it's Cat. She's back. Cat, that wasn't the same hair that you had last time I talked to you. Did you change your hairstyle to try to look more like me? Why can't I hear you? I can't hear you.
Fuck my life.
It's gonna
Can
be
you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
we're
good.
very
All right.
professional. We are
Okay.
very, very professional.
Of course, everything that's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
Like the landscapers are outside, and like a storm like came out of nowhere, and like of course I'm like on a podcast, and everything goes out.
It's all right, dude. It's the story of my life as well.
Right?
It's comedian lifestyle. It's just like what can go wrong will go wrong.
We thrive in chaos.
Yeah. Just like write a joke about it.
All right.
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking, I was like, what were we even talking about during the podcast? I was like, it might as well have been the weather. And then you came back on and you were like, yeah, the weather. So thanks for the foreplay.
Nice.
Let's elevate this. What do you think about UFOs, Kat? You live in New Mexico.
I haven't seen any, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. That's like, that's like being one of those guys that are like, rape culture doesn't exist. Just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean it's not real. I believe in aliens, especially since like didn't the government release like all this like paperwork saying, yeah, there's UFOs, extraterrestrials out there. They're just out there.
Yeah, but it's weird because it's like, all right, I want to believe, but do I believe them? Because historically, I don't believe what they tell me. So
Right.
it's like,
well, it's not the fact that they're telling us so much as they're not like trying to hide the information anymore. It's like they're like, okay, we've like conditioned you guys enough. We've released at least 3 Men in Blacks. Like people are just, there's so much other shit going on. People aren't going to care about aliens. And then they just like slip it in there. They're just like, oh yeah, by the way.
so are you saying you think that's what they're using this Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith entanglement? It's all predictive programming. Like in 2 years, they're gonna do another red table talk, and she's gonna pull her face off and be an alien.
It's just like, weren't they like polyamorous, or like it's just like conditioning us? It's the polyamorous agenda. It's the bisexual agenda taking over this country. The frogs are turning the kids. The water's turning the frogs gay.
Are you a conspiracy theorist at all?
I feel like I am, like ironically, but only because like I was thinking about starting like a thing where I talk about a thing, a podcast, or some kind of series where I talk about conspiracy theories, but I don't really have like a solid stance on any of them. It's not that I like believe. I'm just like, yeah, I see that how that could like be possible, and more than anything, I'm just like fascinated by them.
I got you. It's not like anything your ideology is like passionately attached to. You're not like, no, Scott, pedophiles run the media and they're going to kidnap your children and your dog and turn them gay.
I think there's some truth to it. But I feel like there's like a little bit of truth to all of it. Like, it's like, conspiracy theories are like religions. Like, no one is completely correct,
Right. That makes sense. Like you have no full way of knowing, a flat out knowing.
And that's kind of what fascinates me about it. Like you can't ever tell for sure. Like you can't be. These flat Earth people are serious, so I don't know.
As long as they're not like militant out here trying to, I don't know, do renegade shit to take back the flat Earth.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Like, let's go on they're gonna go on like an expedition to find the edge. Like what?
Yeah, storm Antarctica.
Right. Didn't it come out that there were like some bases there, some like military bases, some shit? I don't know. I gotta catch up on my conspiracy theories.
I've heard different things about Antarctica, about like military bases or ancient civilizations, like pyramids, different stuff like that.
Like under the ice.
Yeah, under the ice.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to stray away from conspiracy theories just because there is a possibility that some of the conspiracy theories are like, what if some conspiracy theories are government conspiracies to spread misinformation via conspiracy theorists?
Dude, I think Yeah, but I mean that makes sense. That like the flat Earth theory, like flat Earth people discredit like so many conspiracy theories that it almost seems like it was started by someone that wanted to discredit conspiracy theories. Like it kind of groups everyone together like into crazy, you know. Like if you see like one extreme of it, you're like, okay, yeah, that's how they are.
So you're saying that the flat Earth conspiracy is a government conspiracy?
It could be. It could be. Yeah.
They all could be. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing. I got to that conclusion like years ago when I first got into like conspiracies and psychedelics and
Mhm.
Bill Hicks and shit like that. And ultimately, yeah, I got to the conclusion. I was like, what if the conspiracies are conspiracies? Like, if this was true, why would this information be out here for me to take in? I
Right?
was like, it's all an attack on my consciousness. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
It's
like
like they
sort of
have like
the
the pre-constructed ones so you don't like dig and like find your own, like come to your own conclusions, you know.
right. It's all like very conveniently written out like a TV show or like a book or something.
Yeah. I don't know, like I feel like a lot of like the media is like that anyway. Like there will be two sides and they have like talking points and it's just like if you're like on this side, like you're arguing these talking points, and if you're on this side, you're just it's just like it doesn't allow people to like come to conclusions by like having open discussions. I feel like you know, like anything political nowadays is either you're like completely for it or you're completely against it, and there's no in between, and you do kind of like get attacked if you're like if you're not like going by I don't know.
Yeah, no. Like the each political party wants you to totally align with all their
Right.
views.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
if you go, well, I agree with A, B, and C, but D
Mhm.
and Q, like I don't agree with you guys on those two things. I'm
Right.
more moderate or I'm more conservative when it comes to that. People are like, "Rah, rah, rah." And it's really dangerous because it it's like society training us not to think for ourselves and to
Right.
just think as far as like a team and let a team think for you and not look
Right.
at
I
the
feel like
individual topics.
exactly like people don't argue like by experience, or they argue by like this is what I heard on Fox News or this is what I heard on CNN News. And it's like you're basically just like repeating like everything that's been like thrown at you from the TV basically.
Yeah. You're just like a megaphone for you're a parrot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then everything is done and like you said, there's no discussion. Everything is a debate. There's
Right.
no like room for political discussion. It's like, no, it's my way or the highway. And
Yeah, yeah.
you know, I put out this bill, so everyone that is in my party should vote for this bill.
Right, right.
And it's very strange like that.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but I I like talking about some of that stuff in my comedy because I feel like it's important to like wake people up to the and those are narcissistic tendencies. It's like what
Right.
again, what the fuck do I know? Who am I to say so? But um I, I think it's cool. Like I like Bill Hicks, I like Chappelle, I like Rogan. So I like I'm the same way. Like I observe topics and then try to paint it how I see it in a comedic way.
Right.
But it can be difficult sometimes because I get passionate about these ideas or about my perspective, and then I just come
Yeah.
off like Alex Jones or something.
Right.
I'm like, no, like, um, damn it, her power went out again. She lost
Like
internet.
to
Okay.
lose like the humor, the message, but like the most important thing is being funny, of course. And I don't know, I feel like we as comedians, like it is kind of our like responsibility because it's like one of the few platforms where like you're forced to come up with like a different perspective. So like you're forced to be original. Like if you just go up like spouting like things you heard on TV. Like you have to come up with your own shit, your own material. So you have to be original. You have to have your own viewpoint.
Yeah. And it seems like though that UFOs and conspiracies aren't like super your thing that you want to talk about on stage. So what is it that you do talk about?
Let's see. I used to make like a lot of rape jokes. But okay, I mean, a lot of it is like talking about like my experience at like I like to like frame my experience like as a woman in a way that like everyone can understand and everyone can laugh at. And a lot of my comedy is like a lot of my jokes are structured to where like okay, men are laughing at one part and the women are laughing at like another part of the joke, and like by the end of it like the guys are like, I never thought of it that way. you know uh as far as like what my comedy consists of, there's a lot of like toilet humor and dark humor, but I still try to have like a message. It's not
R-
as rough as it used to be. I feel like I started out like super rough, like
Right, right. And how long? I mean, you've only been doing it like what, 2 years?
a little over a year now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've only been doing it 2 years. I had a comedian of like 5 years tell me the other day, like, I'm still young in comedy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's important to remember, even though I think, like, oh, I did really good this time. It's like, you're still not as good as you think you are.
Right.
There's still so much work to be done.
Right. It's just like the potential for like bombing is, it's always there. It
Yeah.
keeps you humble.
And it seems like, at least for me, I'm still in like this stage of figuring out, like, I know the type of stuff I want to talk about, but it's
Mhm.
still like figuring out how I want to portray it. Like, what I'm trying to find my voice. I'm still trying to find my voice.
Right, right. That makes sense. Like there's still a lot of things that like I want like to talk about, but I haven't like figured out like a way to do it. Like I haven't figured out a way to make it funny. So I don't.
Who are some of
But
your favorite comedians to like go watch? A lot of times when I'm struggling with like a joke that I'm like, oh, I really like this premise, I really like this idea, but I don't know how to like spin it in a funny way. I'll go back and watch, one of a few different comedy specials.
it's weird because like nowadays I don't really consume as much comedy, but like I feel like I don't know, early on I'm kind of made it a point like not to do it as much because I felt like it would like shape like my style or like what I'm doing. Like it's so much easier early on to accidentally tell someone else's joke and not realize you're doing it, or accidentally pick up someone else's style. Uh, but like early on, I don't know, I was like really into like Sarah Silverman or like, let's see, like Bob Saget. Just, I guess like shock humor was great growing up, but I try to have more substance now. I was into Louis C.K. before he pulled his pee out.
You're saying you would have been upset if Louis C.K. pulled his pee out in front of you?
I mean, I would have been disappointed. Like I was disappointed over the whole thing. Like, and like I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Like,
That's so fucking funny. Oh my god. Oh, that's really good. I get what you're saying though about like being careful about taking in too much outside comedy because it might seep into your own. Um,
right.
but I also think it's important just to watch other comedians just to get reminded of like, oh, there's like a trick or a tool or
Right.
something that I kind of forgot about that I can incorporate. What if I did that in my joke?
Right. Right.
Like
Yeah.
I've been watching Def Comedy Jam on Amazon recently,
Okay.
and I don't know who it was last night, but they were just being like super physical. It was either Bernie Mac or I can't think of his fucking name. Steve Harvey.
Okay.
But one of them was just being like super physical, and I was like, what if I hit myself in the head with the microphone during this joke? And I was like, that would work out. That would make a lot of sense.
Right. It is good. It is good for that, for like finding little things to like to better a set that you already have, you know.
Right. Just to like remind yourself of, like I said, tricks or tools. One that I always go back and watch is Zach Galifianakis at the Purple Onion.
Oh, I love, yes, that's a classic.
There's just something like absurd about his humor that
right, that whole fucking set, like, oh, it was great. That was like, it was iconic.
yeah. He's really good at like misdirections and just absurdity, just being silly.
I'm on a podcast. It's okay.
That's funny, yeah.
That's my dad.
Dad, I'm doing a podcast.
I'm doing a podcast, Dad, get out.
Oh my god.
Living a dream.
now he knows you're a cam girl.
Oh no, I would have had the door locked.
That's funny as shit.
My parents are very supportive. They're very cool.
That's good. I don't really talk to my parents that much, but not much anymore, but they are supportive of what I do.
That's good.
It is good to have like supportive family and friends. I mean, I was just a fuck up totally before all of this, so
I'm
at least
still
like
fuck up, like
yeah. I mean, me too, but I don't know. At least I have goals now.
Right, goals. What's your goal? What's your goal in I guess in comedy?
I want to be a paid regular at the Comedy Store. Ultimately, I mean, I want to make enough money doing comedy to support a decent life for myself and possibly a family in the future.
Right.
Like,
do you think you'll be able to do it through stand up alone, or?
No, definitely not. I'm not foolish. You know, I think it's smart to do stand up, to do podcasts, to do voiceover work, to do acting. Any little thing like that that's geared towards the ultimate. Obviously, comedy is the primary, but anything that's geared towards the ultimate goal. Like I went and saw Moshe Kasher in DC before the quarantine. And one thing that he was talking about that he does when he's not doing stand-up is they'll hire comedians to like be on the set of movies, and then they'll come in and like improv lines. Like, what if you said this? What if you did that?
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things in like the entertainment industry. A lot of avenues that I can go down to get where I want to go and to live a comfortable life. To be able to ultimately, I want to have like a nice piece of land and be able to have like a little like fucking treehouse forest and have a little stage out there and be able to do like festivals and party. It's not a cult. It's a cult. I can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
I wonder if there's a short in here. I could change headphones.
You're fine. Do what you gotta do.
Other headphones.
No, you're good. I knew you were wearing shorts too. See, fuck wearing pants.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Every technical difficulty that could happen has happened.
It's all right. It's all right.
You're good. No, it's all on my end, so you're good. I shouldn't have said that we thrive in chaos. That was a mistake. The universe is like, all right.
She's like, all right, let's see how much chaos you can take.
Yeah.
You're doing all right. This podcast is pretty much nailing it. I got my podcast host voice on, like, hey, welcome to the podcast. Do. And we're just doing the thing.
Oh, yeah.
But no, yeah, ultimately I want to have like, I want to be able to have like a nice plot of land out in the woods somewhere where I can live like a self-sustainable lifestyle. I want to, in the meantime, I want to be nomadic as possible. You've been doing that, haven't you?
Yeah, like right before quarantine, actually, I was pretty much traveling nonstop, or at least like most, like 3 weeks out of the month. Like I was going back and forth from like Denver and Durango, and then like Phoenix. I had a couple shows out in Phoenix that were actually canceled, like right when quarantine started. But I would just like travel pretty much nonstop, and then like I would come home and I would like cam like during the day or whatever when I was like home by myself before everyone was staying home all day, and then make enough money to like travel and get like from show to show. And like I was getting paid like for the shows, but obviously it wasn't enough to just be like traveling nonstop. So I was
Right, yeah.
funding one thing with another thing. But I was happy. I was doing it. I was doing the thing.
Yeah, that's the dream. I mean, I love being on the road and like traveling. I do like my hometown. It has its perks, and I think that ultimately, if I have the money to one day, that I would like to have like a little home base here too.
Right.
But I think the West Coast is where I want to be.
Yeah, yeah. I want to make it out to LA and Cali. I know a couple people out there. They're just like, come out. We need you out here. I'm like, yeah, COVID.
Yeah,
maybe,
same.
maybe I'm like, maybe I'll just like get it soon and then I won't have to worry about.
I don't
But
even
it's
know if
more
it
than
works like
that,
that.
right? Like, can you get it again? I don't know. I don't know. I just want things to open up. Like, I don't even watch like stand-up specials right now because they just make me sad. So I'm like, damn it. I'm already like at the point where I'm like writing like new material again. But if I'm not like jumping on stage, then I don't know. I don't really know what to do with it or how to like structure a set based on what I've written. So it's
You,
rough. I have a lot of raw material right now.
you think your material comes off better when you like get on stage and present it as opposed to like rehearsing it in your room?
Oh, I mean, I feel like I don't really know. Like I don't know what where my laughs are exactly, what my timing's gonna be until I present it on stage, and then I can edit and cut from there. I'm like one of those people that has like film my sets and go back and watch them and actually see what's happening. It's way
Yeah,
different.
I think everybody should do that. Film their sets and go
Yeah.
back and watch them.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially like early on, because
Yeah.
there's so many things you don't realize that you do, like you'll like wrapping the microphone cord or like pacing back and forth to the point where it's like distracting. There's so many of those like little things that you can like hone in on.
Yeah,
And
stage presence is a big part of it.
yeah, yeah. I used to make it like a thing where when I was going out to mics nightly, I'd be like, okay, this week, this is what I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna work on not saying like or anyways, like throughout the set. Or I'd be like, I'm gonna work on, how I'm presenting myself physically, or crowd work. I'd have like a different goal every week. But now my life is unstructured chaos.
I like that though. That's good tip. To like kind of set out the rules for yourself like that and try to focus on one thing a week.
Right. Because it's easy like to get stale too, like especially when you're just mostly performing like in your town and you're doing like the same 5 minute set like for the same 15 comedians because you're trying to perfect it. And then I don't know, it's easy to like lose like your investment in a set.
Yeah, you kind of like lose your luster a little bit when you're doing
Mm,
it in front of the same comedians and there's no crowds there in the same town.
right, right. Now Albuquerque is usually pretty good for like actually having people at open mics. I guess because there's not too much else to do other than just like be at bars or strip clubs.
Right, right.
We have music too, but yeah, open mics are actually a thing that people go out to to watch in Albuquerque.
You play music too, don't you?
Yeah. I usually like just make it like a part of my set. Like I have a couple of comedy songs that I've written. I guess I write serious songs too. Sometimes not near as much as I used to though.
Those are like for you.
Yeah, they're more for me now. But I mean, like I'll play them, but usually I have like I think I have like three different comedy songs that I've written. I wish I had more, but it's hard to just sit down and be like, I'm gonna write a song that's gonna be funny. It has to kind of like be inspired.
Right. I mean, you're a musician too, but the music is kind of part of your comedy at times. You said that you do make some like serious songs that are kind of outside of the comedy realm. Is there any other like creative thing that you do outside of music or comedy to like just kind of keep the juices going?
Um, I mean, I guess I do a little bit of writing. Like I've written poetry. I've actually recently just like kind of been trying to get back into just like being at a keyboard and like letting my thoughts flow and seeing what happens from there. Which was like originally how I came up with material in the first place. You know, like I would just like free write and try to like find the funny from there. But
Okay.
writing, I don't know, I've been doing more modeling recently, but I guess it's creative. It doesn't feel like as creative to me. It's just more like a fun thing, you know.
The modeling.
Yeah. Like, and for some people it completely is like their like creative outlet. So I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying for me it's just like a fun thing that I do.
Do you feel
And
like
it makes money
that's
too.
do you feel like as the model that's more of like a performative outlet as opposed to a creative, that the photographer is more the creator and you're the performer?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, in a way. In a way, I feel like performance can be, you know, like a creative outlet in itself, depending on how you approach it. Also,
Yeah, if you're improving and doing your performances off script or off a script that you made, then I mean
right. Yeah,
that's creation.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's
But
important as like a comedian or as a just a creator to like, all right, I have this main, like this is my main thing, comedy, but I think it's good to have like a break from that, like when you get a writer's block, to be able to go paint, like like
right,
or if you're having trouble writing comedy, like I'm a comedy writer, so I'll paint or I'll write poetry. Those are kind of like my two other little things that I'll go to. That's just kind of for me.
right. I guess my immediate go to, like if it's not comedy, would be like the music. Like that's purely a creative outlet. Like when it's not, oh, like I'm writing comedy songs to sing on stage. It's purely creative.
You spend a lot of time
Definitely.
just hanging out, just like picking at your guitar and stuff.
More recently than I used to. I'm guilty of like going like really long periods of time without touching it at all. And I'm guilty of uh not practicing to increase my skill. I like kind of peaked at like age 16, you know. Like I feel like the first 3 years of learning guitar were just like I was just like doing great and excelling, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm good enough. I can get out the things that I want to get out.
So
I hope I don't get that way with comedy.
right. Like get jaded with it.
Some people I've seen that like with some people like you know, they've been doing it 5-10 years, but they just reach like a plateau where they're like, yeah, I'm good enough. And you can't blame them because they're getting what they want to get out of it. You know, they're having their creative outlet, their performance outlet. But yeah.
Are you think you're your own biggest critic and you're just always like striving to like progress your comedy? Like how can I take it to the next level? How can I take
Oh
this
yeah.
the next notch?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because people either just like completely love me or hate me. There's no in between. Like I have a couple of friends in comedy that will give me edits or whatever, but mostly it's like they're like, you're awesome, or I'm getting the screenshots from other people that I'm not a fan.
So you feel like you deal with a lot of fake people in your scene? Your scene's probably
Oh,
fucking huge.
it's not really that big, like compared to like Denver. Like you go up and there'll be like 30 or 60 people on a
And
mic, but the Albuquerque, like when we had mics regularly, it would be like 10 to 15 comedians. you know I feel like it's not like a huge scene.
that's
It's
about
small
what we
enough to
have.
where, yeah.
That's about
Oh
what
yeah.
we have here. So yeah, that's not too big at all, especially for a big city.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thinking about it. But I like coming up in a smaller scene because like there's less competition, and it's easier to find your voice, I feel like when sometimes when you go to like the bigger cities and you go to the mics, a lot of the people that go up will have like the same voice, or they'll be talking about the same thing, or there's like so many similarities, like.
So you think the lack of pressure and you think like the lack of pressure keeps you more like free, keeps you more open?
Yeah, definitely.
And then I
Yeah.
guess being in a smaller group at feel of like 15 compared to 30 or 60 keeps you out of like a hive mind mentality to where you don't have the people that are just going up and like the same voice, the same thing.
Right, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of diversity, as far as, I mean, there's a lot of white guys, but there's a lot of diversity as far as like people's styles, like in the community. Like you're gonna see everything, like if you go to an open mic in Albuquerque.
I've got the same thing here, and even though it does feel like it's mainly white guys, there is still like a good portion of diversity, and even the white
Oh yeah.
guys, you get to see like everybody's little differences, all the little subtle differences in everybody's perspective, and it's cool seeing like how even though we can be so like opposite in certain ways, that
Hmm.
all the ways we're not opposite we're exactly alike or extremely alike.
Right, yeah. And like I don't know, like in like the bigger cities, there's like the comedy scene, and then there's the alt comedy scene, and it's kind of like, I feel like it's like I'm kind of critical of it, because it's like if you don't fit into like a certain box and you're like an alt comic, but labeling people like that, like in a smaller scene, you don't have alt comics because everyone just kind of has their own different voice. And like by labeling people like that, you're like, okay, this is the way you're supposed to be. This is the way comedy is supposed to be, but you're like an outlier.
Right. What type of like comics or perspectives would you put into that alt category?
I guess like I guess like I guess anyone who's not, it's hard because it's not like a certain thing. It's just like anyone who's not mainstream,
Okay.
and maybe it's just that they're not like bookable on every show. you
People
know?
no, but I see what you're saying. I've had comedians that have come here from out of town to perform, or comedians that have been to the Comedy Store. I've met like Joey Diaz and George Perez and people like that. I've had them tell me that there's like Funny Bone, Laugh Factory,
uh,
and then there's like Comedy Store and the Comedy Cellar, and they're definitely like different brands of humor. You know what I mean? Like if you go to a Laugh Factory, you're gonna see a different comic than you see at the Funny Bone, and if you go to the
okay.
Funny Bone, you're gonna see a different comic than you would see at the Comedy Store.
Right, right. And I feel like I haven't been doing it long enough to like really know like all the differences, but I can definitely see like there's some differentiation there. Like just from traveling, There's there's a lot of there's a lot of differences, but also like similarities.
Yeah, I also think
Everything's kind of like a high school.
yeah, it gets clicky, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That's the other thing I like about the small group is that we don't have like room to get clicky. There's only like room for it to be one
Right.
click.
Right. There will be like different groups of, but everyone kind of respects each other because they have to like see each other. And even if you don't like someone, like everyone pretty much books each other in Albuquerque for the most part,
Right.
or at least they did, you know.
Is there a
It's
lot of
more
other
comedy
female
like that.
comedians there?
There's not that many. No. There's one producer who creepily has like a list of them.
You've seen the list. You can
Yeah, no,
confirm.
yes. He. If I find it, I'll send it to you. But he would say something about, oh, so and so is on the scene now. She's really good, and I'm excited because now we have 11 female comedians in Albuquerque. And then he like sent me like the list, and you could tell it was like procured like over some period of time because it was in like different pens and the piece of paper like looked worn.
There was like cum stains on it.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. It's weird. I'm like, this is unnerving for some reason. I don't know why.
No, it has to be like strange for a female comedian trying to get booked sometimes because I'm sure there's guys that out there that are like creepy bookers or that have some sort of like preconceived notion that something's going to happen if they book you or do you a favor.
Right. Oh, it's definitely out there. It's definitely out there.
Especially
Uh,
with you because you do the cam girl and OnlyFans and stuff like that.
right, right. But at the same time, like I feel like a lot of people don't really fuck with me because I'm like known for calling people out for shit. But I can definitely tell there's a lot of like male producers. Uh, it's not like, okay, I booked you, so now you have to fuck me, or if you fuck me, I'll book you. It's just kind of like, I'm gonna book you. I really hope you fuck me.
Right.
I see like more of that, you know. It's like using it as like an in, like in a way. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. But I
but
mean, you're funny though. So I've seen your stand up on YouTube, Cat Savage Comedy, like that 20-minute set that you have on there. You're fucking hilarious the whole time. So, you're not getting booked just because you have half naked pictures on Facebook.
yeah, yeah, I agree, and you can usually tell because like you'll either get like the 5 minute opener slot or you'll get like the feature spot. That's how you can tell whether or not you were booked for other reasons.
The 5-minute spot means that you were booked for other reasons.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get you in the door.
Yeah. Which works out because then then I actually get to perform and they're like, oh, uh she's actually funny.
Yeah, and now you're trying to get the 20-minute spot.
Right, exactly.
So
So
it plays to your advantage.
exactly. I have no problem taking advantage of that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, you sound empowered.
Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. I can't raise one fist because one of my friends on Facebook said that if you raise one fist even for Black Lives Matter, then it's a white power sign.
Okay. Now we know.
I'm like, all right. I was like, how do you feel about fist bumping on Jersey Shore?
No, don't appropriate the Italians' culture.
Right? Is it appropriation? Is it racism? I don't
I think
understand.
appropriation is a form of racism. It's systemic.
Yeah. It's just yeah. I don't know if you can hear the harmonica in the background and all the noises here.
Do you also live at a studio?
No, I just live with my folks and my brother's here and his kids here and there's just like kids and dogs and all kind of crazy things.
Yeah, no, I got a pretty hectic household over here too. Like, I'm in my sunroom that I live in, and back over there is a podcast studio, and back over here is like a living room And the guy I rent from, he has a 4-year-old, and they do
Oh yeah.
podcasts here every night of the week.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
That's
just like
pretty
tucked
cool.
in my little nook.
You're just like in the corner. I'm
Yeah,
also in the corner of my house. And just I like it.
yeah, you're just like trying to hide, like I'm just writing jokes.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Sitting in some smoky ass room.
Yeah, no, I usually open my windows. My mom's like, if you're gonna smoke a blunt, just make sure you open the window because we don't try not to smoke tobacco in the house.
Yeah, no, the tobacco smoke grabs to like cloth better than weed smoke does.
It'll stain your walls, dude.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, it'll stain your walls.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in New Mexico?
No, I grew up in mostly in Mississippi. That's pretty much where I was raised. I was born in Virginia, and then like my dad's from New York, so I spent time up there like as a little kid. But then, like once we were in school, I pretty much went to school in Mississippi for most of my school years.
So you didn't move out to New Mexico until like high school?
No, until I spent a couple years up in New York, but I homeschooled. But I didn't move out. I moved out here about 7 years ago. So I was like 22.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just
So
like, I was
what was it
over
like
it.
growing up in Mississippi?
It was,
Because you're mixed, aren't you?
yeah, it was my mom's white, my dad's Afro-Cuban. I was like one of the only brown girls in school. I got called every like racial derogatory term that didn't even apply to me. Like, um, I have a joke I'm working on where I'm like, growing up, like I thought I was like a misfit, but then like once I became an adult, I just realized I'm just not racist. But but it was weird. It was weird. It definitely like procured like my sense of humor. Like,
Like it hardened your shell.
oh yeah, for sure. I came up with like a lot of like quick comebacks. Like that's why I'm such a good roast battler.
Oh, you're good at roast battles?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm like 3 for 1 right now. And there was like this big like bracketed one in Albuquerque. It was like the ultimate roast battle where we were all supposed to go up against each other, and then it was canceled because of COVID. And I was kind of happy because I didn't really write enough, but it was also really sad.
I won a couple. I won the tournament that we did here in town over like
Yeah.
a span of like 12 weeks or some shit like that. And
Okay.
then I actually won like a bunch of the individual nights throughout the tournament.
Cool.
And then my friend Brandon Moore, who's a comedian that's been doing it for like 7 years, he got me on a roast. It's like a roast battle style competition.
Mhm.
They just don't call it a roast battle.
Okay.
But he got me on that at the Funny Bone in Richmond. And that was really fucking fun. The girl that I went against, I think we
Yeah.
had the best battle of the night, but I fucking lost, so whatever.
Damn. Was it close though?
Yeah, no, I think it was close. It was really good.
What's probably like the worst roast that you've ever gotten? Like the one that like cut deep.
The one that cut deep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to go back and watch some of them. I think the best one. I think the best one was I look like Shaggy from Scooby Doo if he was addicted to meth instead of weed.
Oh shit.
I really like that
One
one.
time I got Aubrey Plaza on heroin.
That's funny.
And let's see, in person, the worst one I got was like, you're shaped like the letter R.
You're shaped like the letter R. Do you have scoliosis or something?
I do have scoliosis. That's fuck. I also have tits but no ass.
Oh,
And I
okay.
kind of slumped, so it like hit on so many different levels. That's why. And nobody else like really got it. Like it didn't like go like the joke like didn't hit well with the crowd, but like it hit me. Like I felt that shit. I was like, oh.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch some of my roast battles now because there are some really funny ones in there. I battled my friend Sean Bennett a couple of times, and he
Yeah.
always got my ass good. I mean, he's fucking quick. Um,
Yeah.
the best one I ever saw was these two brothers, Avery and Christian, and they're brothers and they're brothers, but
Oh yeah.
fuck, dude, that shit was so funny. That was like the best roast battle I've ever seen. I wish that
Did
I
they
don't
go
know.
against each other or?
Yeah, they went
Oh
against each other.
damn.
And the host just like ended up letting them go over time because like when the buzzer went off, they wouldn't stop. It was just like 20 years of like pent up fucking
Right.
anger that they just unleashed on each other. And
They've
it
just
was,
been writing that shit for like their whole life, like literally. Like,
yeah, it wasn't even a roast battle. It was all just straight from the heart.
oh man.
Like,
That's rough.
shit got real. It was awesome.
Um,
No, but I like I'm glad that I did the roast battles that early on because it made me not take myself as serious, you know what I mean, as seriously. Like it
right.
made me make fun of myself. And now when I go out on stage, that's like one of my go-to jokes is, I know what I look like. And then I have,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a fucking page worth of look-alike jokes.
Roast
But
battles are great for openers, like finding. Yeah.
and it's a good writing tool. It's a good like exercise, for writing
Yeah.
jokes.
Yeah.
Then you can take that same ideology and apply it to like roasting establishments or situations or concepts that you're observing, whatever it is that you're writing about in your actual material.
Right. Yeah. I feel like no writing is like a waste. Like even like writing for like current events. Because like once you have a joke, you have like the joke, you have the structure of the joke and the formula of the joke, and you can pretty much plug in whatever else you need to like to adapt it. That makes sense.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. It's writing jokes is like mathematical in that way. There's a lot of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
formula to it.
It's like
It's
chemistry.
strange. There's a lot of like variables involved. All right, chemistry, whatever. If you want to be
Yeah.
different, that's fine. I
There's
never
a
made it
science
past
on the
ninth
part.
grade, so fucking
Oh,
leave me
yeah.
alone.
I was one of those kids that was just like smart for no reason. Like I would like pull pranks at school. Like one time no one liked history class. So me and one of my girlfriends, we super glued like the door shut. So I'm trying to think. I would always like make videos like in the halls of like high school and get other people in trouble. I would just like slink away. Like I would like drift into the shadows with my camera. And then other people would go to the office for like moshing in the hallway.
You're an asshole. So
Yeah.
you're like an instigator. You're like
I was definitely an instigator. I was definitely an instigator.
but like on some weird like social manipulation like
Dude, yes. Yeah.
it's very avant-garde. So
One
do you
time I
still
like wrote no, go ahead.
do you still do stuff like that when you go to Walmart like by yourself or with friends? Do you just like improv strange situations or just like act out
I don't
weird
think
arguments?
I think it has translated in my adulthood to just like being a troll online. Like that's what comes out.
I feel like internet culture is fucking rotting my brain.
Dude, it is. It's rough because like I have to approach it and like the idea of like making sure that I'm creating like as much as I'm consuming, you know, if not
Right.
more.
If not
Like
more,
if
yeah.
you're like contributing, like if you're like putting stuff out there, it's one thing versus just like scrolling and then just like
Right.
getting in arguments with people on like other posts. But I'm also guilty of like losing myself in a day of arguing with people over a post that was supposed to just be like a one-liner on my Facebook page that became a political ideology debate.
Right. No, that type of shit happens to me too. Or like I'll just sit there and keep pulling the phone down to like refresh my
Right.
notifications because I'm like, I know another one's coming.
Just another hit of dopamine.
Yeah, dude. It's like this weird, and I feel like it's like making me a fucking narcissist because I'm just like staring into this mirror of like my own thoughts. I'm
It
like, oh,
really
look at
is.
this thing that I said. All right, now let me respond again.
And it's hard to now because there's not like as much of like the platform of like being able to go out and socialize and just like have real conversations, with people at like an open mic, or like we crave like that connection and that socialization, but we get it in the form of like Facebook, which is basically crack,
Yeah, it is 100%, dude. I agree with that. I have jokes about that. It is fucking crack. I can verify as a ex-crackhead that Facebook is like it's easier to quit smoking crack. I still have a cell phone. I don't have a crack pipe, cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe if like smoking crack was more socially acceptable and I could just walk around like just firing up my stem all day, then
Right. Then we wouldn't have to check Facebook notifications to get that hit.
we just check crack notifications.
Yeah. Crack book.
Crack book. Seriously, man, it's bad, and they have people that are like super knowledgeable about psychology and sociology, and they know how to like use these bells and whistles against us to keep us more fucking tuned in. It's like a
Right.
casino.
It is. It is like every little thing that they engineer and like put into social media is like designed to make us use it more and become more addicted to it.
Yeah. And it can be like, for us as comedians, a really amazing tool to live stream podcasts, to post my flyers, to
Right.
sell your nudes, to, you know what I mean? To
Or
like,
even like getting like a voice out there, like getting a presence out there. Like social
yeah,
media has been huge for me, just like putting myself out there as someone that people know of, which is huge when it comes to getting booked.
right. Well, and you also getting your voice out there for being like an empowering figure for women, like in the stuff that you talk about or in the people that you put on blast, whether it be um, abusers or bookers or racist or what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
It's like you built this platform now and you have people looking to you, whether you like it or not. There are a certain level of people that look to you, and now it's like, with great power comes great responsibility, Spider-Man. Like,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, there is a responsibility. There is for sure. Especially if you're like using your platform for selfish reasons. There's also a responsibility that if you have the voice and people are looking, people are listening to what you're saying. Like you have to say something, you
right.
know.
Yeah, if you can be a voice for the voiceless or use your voice to build other people up and motivate. Like, one of my biggest things is I got all these people all around the country and the world who are like, they fucking super believe in me and think that I
Right.
have all this potential, and they're like, come here, come stay with me and do this and do that. And they fucking love me and they believe me. And I'm like, thank you. And I love you and I appreciate this. And I want to come see you, but believe in yourself more than you believe in me. Like, if you think I can make it doing like with my dream, like, what's your dream? What is it that you want to do?
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. 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 I see a lot of that. But like also, like people say to me, you said the things that I couldn't find a way to say, or I didn't have a platform to say, you know. So
Right.
you, so you have to understand there's that aspect of like people looking up to you and that sort of thing. But also, yeah, I'm nobody, you know.
Right.
Like the
Same,
fuck am
same.
I? It's an illusion, and even if you tell people that, it doesn't dispel the illusion. It just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If anything, it makes you more like mystical. It's like, oh, they don't. He doesn't think he's special. She doesn't think she's
right,
special. It's like, I'm not.
right.
I'm a fucking glorified fuck up.
Yeah, I'm like you're special too. Like you know, I just won't stop running my mouth about what's on my mind. That's the only difference.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, and like for all those reasons, as far as like building up other people, being a voice for the voiceless, all those reasons, and the obvious like promotional tools that Facebook can be used as, it can
Right.
be a great tool, but it can also be a weapon against you. You have to watch whether you're using it or if it's using you.
Right, for sure. There's a give and take, for
Yeah.
sure. Kind of like selling your soul to the devil.
Yeah, it is. Because it's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it's like a temptation. It's that dopamine temptation.
Yeah, and also like there's like I don't have like FOMO in real life. Like I have no problem passing up like a party, you know. But like if I'm like, oh, well, what am I missing on social media? Like what news headline am I not taking in time to make a decent joke about it? Or, like what am I missing out on? Like there's that aspect if you do take a break from it. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that too because I don't have cable. I don't watch the news. I don't like go looking for the news. I let the news
right.
find me on social media, and then I'll go be like, all right, what's this thing everyone's talking about from this meme?
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's so many like things that I've learned about like that are in the news because I saw like my friends joking about it. Like I learned about Kobe's death because there were some fucked up jokes that were
Right, right. I learned about those. Remember that couple from like a couple weeks ago or last week from St. Louis that like pointed their guns at the protesters?
oh yeah. I saw it in the meme first.
Yeah, I woke up one morning and started scrolling Facebook, and it was just like meme after meme after meme after meme of them.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck is this? What? Why? What? Um, but it's weird because we're like, we're part of the media now too. So
Right.
like, if you're any kind of like conspiracy theorist or like acid freak or whatever anti-government
Right.
person, it's like the media. It's the media. It's like, well,
Right. We
you're
are
a
the
part of
media.
that now. Yeah,
We are the media. But
yeah.
like in a way that's kind of cool. Like finding out like what the headline is from a joke because then it forces you to do your own research and be like, all right, well, what's really going on, instead of just like sitting in front of the cable news channel, taking in whatever
Right.
they want you to hear. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go
And it's
actually
just
look.
important to laugh.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like everything should be taken so seriously. So when you can see like a current event spun into a hilarious meme, it's like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's not as traumatizing if someone's
Right,
already like made the connection like with the joke for you.
right. Like I wish we had memes when 9/11 happened. It would have been
Oh
much more
my god.
therapeutic. What? Why does
Man.
everyone freak out when I say 9/11?
Well, it doesn't affect a lot of people, but when I was 11 years old, so when it happened, I have a bunch of family up there, and like when it happened, we couldn't get in touch with anyone, and we drove up there, and like I remember driving into the city, and like you could still like see like all the smoke and like all the debris. It was crazy. It was crazy. And then like walking around was super eerie because there was just like missing posters for people everywhere, like everywhere. It was
Oh,
it was it was and it was like the energy, like compared to, I don't know if you've ever like been to New York, like to the city, like everyone's an asshole, everyone's just like moving super quickly, hates each other, like people don't like wave or make eye contact, but like after that happened, like it's like people walk slower, like they said hello to each other, like there was like this sense of community. It was, I don't know, it was a lot that went into it. So that's my background and why.
no, that
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
a lot of people, it's like, yeah, why do you care? Like, it doesn't affect you. Come on.
Right, right, right. I mean, it does. It does affect a lot. 9/11 was a weird day. I live like an hour south of DC. Um, my uncle is a firefighter who like was at the Pentagon and stuff when that happened.
Oh wow.
So when everything happened at the Pentagon too. Now, obviously, it's not nearly as bad as it's just how devastating that was for New York City because that's literally in the middle of the city.
Yeah,
Um,
but still in DC, like any kind of attack is, yeah.
yeah, there was a really weird tone in Virginia, um, especially like where I live right off the I-95 corridor.
Right.
There was like a weird vibe here too when all that shit happened.
Yeah. And then like I remember I pissed people off because it was like the 18th anniversary of the Twin Towers, and they were deducting time from people's sets for making jokes about it.
Wow.
So I open with, "Hey guys, have you heard it's the 18th anniversary of the Twin Towers or of 9/11?" I was like, "So you know what that means? We can finally fuck it."
So you just like ruined that joke for
I
anybody
ruined my
else.
whole set. I didn't care. I didn't care. It was worth it.
I told that dog on LSD bit that ends with like the 9/11 joke. I told that in a like a biker bar that's near Stafford Courthouse and near like Quantico Marine Base. Um, they did not like that.
Yeah.
They were ready to fucking kill me for that
Oh,
joke. Yeah, it was
like
like
I don't understand like a lot of like the fucked up jokes that we come up with, it comes from like us like coping with our personal experience and trauma,
right,
you know.
exactly. A lot of people do not realize that, and
Yeah.
I've made that clear to audiences before that have like gotten shitty with my comedians. It's like about making a rape joke or something. It's like you don't know, maybe he's been raped. Like I understand where you're coming from, and like maybe they should work on their joke, yes, but at the same time, most comedians' jokes come from a place of darkness, and for
Right.
all you know, this individual has been molested, and this is the only way that they know how to express themselves.
And there's like a clear difference, like I have like straight up walked out of a mic before because like two comedians in a row like went up and just told like these awful like insensitive rape jokes where like the punchline is basically a woman getting beaten or raped. Like there's a difference between that and like using it, or like not being afraid to go there to say something, or to tell a joke.
Right, right.
There's a difference between using it and abusing it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. As with everything in life,
Right.
there's also like there's also like certain wordings and stuff that people can do to make things better too, because
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
like
Yes.
dance around the idea of what you're trying to say. Okay, make the rape
Uh-huh.
implied. We don't have to just be like rape.
Right.
So then I raped her. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
And, but yeah, no, I've learned that too because like I'll have a solid rape joke, but but like saying the R word will shock people, or even
yes.
referencing it directly, it will shock people so much that they can't even like appreciate or like laugh at the what the joke actually is, which is
Yeah.
usually which is usually saying that rape is not okay. That
Right.
that's usually the point of the joke, but I'm getting there like through my fucked up experience of like dealing with it. So I'm like taking people like on the journey with me. So
Right. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Um, my friend Mike explained it to me best. I think the 9/11, the word term 9/11 and the word rape have a similar thing. My buddy Mike explained it to me like this. It's like when I'm telling the dog on LSD joke and I get to the part where I say 9/11, it's like once it leaves my mouth and hits people's ears, it's a trigger word.
right,
So it's like, okay, wait, what? Why did he say that? People start doing math in their head. You're not even listening to what I'm saying anymore
right,
because this
because
word
you're
has a certain
processing.
yeah, because this word has a certain connotation to it, and I just blurted it out, and you're like, hold on, wait, what? Why? Like you said,
Yeah,
you're trying to process it.
right, exactly. Yeah, so they're not processing the joke, they're processing like the word and like whatever that means to them, and then you can lose people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. I like the way you put that. Yeah, they're processing the word and what it means to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. That was deep. That was smart. Yeah, I like that. All right. I feel like we've talked about a lot, Kat. What do you think?
Yeah,
Has this been
yeah,
good?
yeah. I think so. I
Do
think we've done our duty as the media.
you,
to cover the important topics.
Yeah, to just blurt out enough bullshit as possible.
Yeah.
I want to talk about aliens. They do exist.
I'm really guilty of that, of going into conspiracy theories on podcasts. I've noticed a pattern.
Well, my thing is too is like I hate like small talk. You know what I mean? Like, how's the weather? What do you do for a living? Like, I hate shit like that. So anytime I like catch myself doing it, my instinct is like to go to the extreme. I'm like, did you know you're God? You know what I mean? Like, I just want to like say weird shit. You know what I mean? Like, what's the weirdest thing?
How do you feel about 5G? Like, that's small talk for me, though.
Yeah. Like, what's your favorite salad dressing? I don't want to do the same regular, like, small, getting to know each other.
Yeah. It's good to open up conversation and get to deeper things, but if people ask me, like, how are you? I'm usually just like, it's a manic day, or, I feel empty inside.
That's funny shit.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want to get together and do another one of those writing sessions. I know last time it was just you and I. I've done another one that had a couple other people in on it, and I know there's some other people that would like to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, because that's probably the closest thing, like, to stage time that will help me, like, hone in on my jokes and get some real structure to what I have going on.
You would rather do like a Zoom workshop instead of like a Zoom
than a Zoom mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I need like the feedback, and more than just like a delayed laugh. I need to know why you're laughing.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Do you have any announcements or anything that you want to plug? How people can follow you, Kat?
Let's see. I guess I can do my social medias. I'm on Instagram. CatSavageIsNotThatFunny, all one word. I'm on Twitter, CatSavageComedy. I do have my Facebook page, Cat Savage. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything major coming up. Got my OnlyFans. I'm on there as Misdirection, MISS. And I think that's it. That's pretty much it.
You have a podcast coming soon too, don't you? I know
I'm
don't want
trying
to disclose much.
I just don't want to be one of those people. It's like, yeah, I have this podcast coming up, and then a year later it doesn't come out. But that my passion is naked comedy, as a lot of people do, and I want to start a naked comedy podcast. That's pretty much all the information I have right now.
So I didn't know that you were like that openly passionate about it, because I have certain ideas and I like keep them to myself in the notebook.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that we connected on when we first started chatting, is that because I've had the idea to do like nude resorts and shit. So
yeah.
If I knew you were more open about that, I would have like tried to talk to you about that on the podcast.
Well, there's like this level to it. There's like this extra level of like vulnerability. But like in a way it's kind of like really beautiful. And also, like, once you go up on stage naked, like going on stage with clothes and telling your bits is cake, dude.
Yeah, I was about to ask, so has that translated to like making it easier? Because you're like literally naked, so now when you go, you're like, oh, whatever, fuck it.
I mean, I still have like, the anxiety and stage fright, but it's easier to psych myself out, because I can be like, dude, you're wearing clothes, like your tits aren't even out. Like, what are you? You're fine. You're fine.
Do you think that the doing it naked has made you more natural on stage?
In a way, yeah. I can't explain how exactly, but yeah, I feel like it has.
Because like that literal nakedness and like not caring. Like,
right.
I feel like I'm the funniest when I'm hanging out with my friends, and when that's when I'm in my zone. Like, that's when I care the least is when I'm the funniest.
Right.
So there has to be something about being literally naked that just drops that whole veil. And it's like, fuck it, here I am.
Yeah, there's definitely that aspect to it. Yeah, for sure.
Well, let me know if you want to do the naked podcast. I told you I'd do it.
Hell
So
yeah. Hell yeah. You'll definitely be one of my first guests. For
that'd
sure.
be awesome. If I could
Okay.
get like episode 3 or 6 or 9.
Hey.
I'm weird. It's got to be 3,
All right.
6, or 9.
Okay, gotcha. 3, 6, 9. Damn, she fine.
Yes, exactly. Nikola Tesla said, if you knew the power of 369, you'd have a key to unlock the universe.
Yeah.
And Lil Jon said, 369, damn,
Yeah.
old fine. Girls, you get like
He knew. He knew.
He knew?
Yeah. Fuck
All
yeah.
right. You have a great night, Kat. Thanks
You
for doing this, too.
Thank you.
Peace.
I'll catch you later. Bye.